և օրգանական գյուղատնտեսության զարգացման ընկած կապին և կամուրջը, որը միավորում է էկոտուրիզմը և օրգանական գյուղատնտեսությունը։ Արդեն իսկ էկոտուրիզմ բառը նշում է, որ մեր օրենսդրության համաձայն էկոլոգիապես մաքուր, օրգանիկ սահմանումները կիրառվում են և հավասարաչափ են ընդունվում ըստ մեր օրենսդրության, հետևաբար ինձ թվում է կապը բավականին սերտ է երկու կոնցեպտների, երկու սահմանումների միջև։ Այս բաղադրիչով մենք ձեզ կներկայացնենք ընդհանրապես օրգանական գյուղատնտեսության զարգացումները հակիրճ և մեր հյուրը, որը օրգանական գյուղատնտեսության զարգացման նախաձեռնության ղեկավարը Դեյվիդ Մուքենհուբերը, որը հանդիսանում է Ավստրիայի զարգացման գործակալության և Եվրամիության կողմից օրգանական գյուղատնտեսության նախաձեռնության ծրագրի ղեկավար։ Եվ արդեն 1 տարուց ավել մենք համատեղ աշխատում ենք օրգանական գյուղատնտեսության զարգացման ուղղությամբ։ Ես մի երկու բառով կցանկանայի նաև ներկայացնել այն քաղաքականությունը, որ իրականացում է Հայաստանի Հանրապետության կառավարության և մասնավորապես գյուղատնտեսության նախարարության կողմից օրգանական գյուղատնտեսությունը զարգացնելու և իրազեկման մակարդակը բարձրացնելու ուղղությամբ։ Առաջին հերթին մենք ունենք 4 բաղադրիչներ, որ արդեն վերջին մի քանի տարվա ընթացքում դարձել են գյուղատնտեսության զարգացման ռազմավարության 10-20 թվականների մեր հայեցակարգի մասը։ Այս 4 բաղադրիչներն են օրգանական գյուղատնտեսության օրենսդրության բարելավումը, որ մենք այժմ ծրագրի հետ համատեղ աշխատում ենք, ստեղծվել է միջկառավարական անձնաժողով, որտեղ ներգրավված են մի քանի պետական կառույցներ, հասարակական կազմակերպություններ և միջազգային կառույցներ, որոնք իրենց ջանքերը ուղղելու են օրենսդրությունը առավել բարենպաստ դարձնելու համար։ Երկրորդ ուղղությունը դա ուղղակի օժանդակությունն է դրամաշնորհային միջոցներով օրգանական գյուղատնտեսությամբ զբաղվողներին։ Ես պետք է ասեմ, որ վերջին 1 տարվա ընթացքում 2016 թվականին շուրջ 16 ձեռնարկություններ օժանդակություն են ստացել, որոնք ցանկացել են օրգանական գյուղատնտեսությամբ զբաղվել, և այս տարի նույնպես 20-ից ավելի փոքր ձեռնարկությունների այդ հնարավորությունը օժանդակությունը իրենք կստանան և արդեն իրենք համապատասխան նաև այդ օժանդակության ձևաչափերը ստացել։ Երրորդ կարևոր ուղղությունն է դա իհարկե իրազեկման մակարդակի բարձրացումն է, որտեղ դեռևս մեր հասարակության շրջանում օրգանական գյուղատնտեսության, օրգանիկ ապրանքների մասով իրազեկվածության մակարդակը ցածր է։ Այդ իսկ պատճառով մենք ՕԳԱՆ ծրագրի հետ համատեղ իրականացնում ենք իրազեկման արշավ և արդեն նկատած կլինեք հեռուստատեսության և ռադիոյով արդեն մենք ունենք տեղեկատվական և իրազեկման ծրագիր, նաև տպագրվել են համապատասխան նյութեր, որ մեր հասարակությունը նույնպես ավելի լավ ճանաչի օրգանական գյուղատնտեսությունը և նրա օրգանական ապրանքների առավելությունները։ Շուտով նաև նմանատիպ աշխատանքներ կիրականացվեն սուպերմարկետներում և մանրածախ վաճառքի կետերում, որով մենք ավելի կթիրախավորենք սպառողներին և առավել իրազեկման մակարդակը այս ուղղությամբ կբարձրացնենք։ Եվ իհարկե այս շրջանում կարևոր է նշել նաև արտադրողների շրջանում իրազեկման բարձրացման մակարդակի կարևորությունը, որտեղ գյուղացիական տնտեսությունները և կազմակերպությունները նույնպես պետք է գիտակցեն օրգանական գյուղատնտեսության արդյունքում իրենց տնտեսության շահութաբերության մակարդակի ավելացման հարցերը։ Եվ իհարկե վերջին բաղադրիչը նաև մարքեթինգային բաղադրիչն է, այսինքն մենք համատեղ ՕԳԱՆ ծրագրի հետ աշխատում ենք տեղի և միջազգային շուկաների զարգացման ուղղությամբ, որտեղ մենք հավատացած ենք, որ օրգանական գյուղատնտեսությունը ի տարբերություն ավանդական գյուղատնտեսության և օրգանական ապրանքների պահանջարկը շատ ավելի դինամիկ զարգացում ունի ամբողջ աշխարհում։ Եվ մենք նույնպես չենք ուզում հետ մնալ այդ աշխատանքներից, հետ մնալ այդ դինամիկայից։ Եվ իհարկե կարևոր բաղադրիչ է նաև օրգանական գյուղատնտեսության և օրգանիկի մասի ընդհանրապես կրթական ծրագրերի զարգացումը, ծրագրի շրջանակներում մեծ հնարավորություն ընձեռնվեց և խորհրդատվական համակարգի միջոցով և ուսումնական հաստատությունների միջոցով նույնպես աշխատանքներ իրականացնել, որպեսզի տարբեր մոդուլների, տարբեր դասընթացների շրջանակներում ուսանողությունը և ապագա սերունդը նույնպես գիտակցի օրգանական գյուղատնտեսության առավելությունները։ Եվ իհարկե խոսքս կուզենայի ամփոփել նրանով, որ էկոտուրիզմի զարգացման շրջանակներում, ագրոտուրիզմի զարգացման շրջանակներում օրգանական մթերքների համար բացահայտվում են եւ բացվում են նոր հնարավորություններ, որտեղ գիտենք ագրոտուրիզմը երբ որ ուսումնասիրում ենք, ագրոտուրիզմի թիրախներից մեկն է նաեւ որակյալ սննդի ապահովումը հասարակության, ինչպես նաեւ զբոսաշրջիկների համար։ Եվ մենք հավատացած ենք, որ հետագա քայլերը էկոտուրիզմի եւ օրգանական գյուղատնտեսության զարգացման ուղղությամբ կբերեն առավել այս ոլորտների առավել զարգացման։ Այժմ ես կցանկանայի խոսքը փոխանցել իմ գործընկեր Դեյվիդին, որը մանրակրկիտ կներկայացնի եւ օրգանական գյուղատնտեսություն եւ դրա կապը էկոտուրիզմի հետ, եւ հետո մենք հնարավորություն կունենանք նաեւ հարց ու պատասխանների եւ քննարկման շրջանակներում առավել մանրակրկիտ անդրադառնալ այն հարցերին, որոնք ձեր մոտ կառաջանա մեր ներկայացման ավարտին։ Խնդրեմ Դեյվիդ։
You can hear me. You all have your translation equipment in the chairs in case you need translation to Armenian because I'll speak in English. This is a very large auditorium. I think the Communist Party actually was better in filling it than the organic agriculture is nowadays. But I'm looking forward that this will also change with the years and we will have even more people here interested for organic and ecotourism once. So the thing is actually I'm very happy that still there are many people here today, not only in this room but on the conference, that link organic to ecotourism and vice versa. We had the keynote speaker in this morning, Robert, was speaking about Kalavan as a great example where we have now 4 projects and actually there's a whole village developing as organic cluster. We had a lady from an organic tea producer in the session in the morning. In parallel now we have Tigran speaking about their organic education center that they're building in ԱՐՏԱԴՐԱՆՔ, and we will have organic honey producers as well together with an international expert speaking, here he is, Wilfried also, speaking at 4 o'clock. So this is really good that in this international year of developing sustainable tourism of the United Nations, we are actually linking this intrinsic linkage between ecotourism and organic. Today, we are in a university, so I'm not just going to make a nice speech. I want to go into more details and facts, it might get boring. If so, then please, you can also join another session. If it's still interesting, I will be happy and you can stay. The topic is ecotourism hubs, are those a market for organic products? I will go through a couple of definitions first of ecotourism, of organic, then we will see where the common ground between those two is. I will show you 2 case studies as well from 2 European countries. And I, on purpose, want then to spend some time on organic guarantee system, commonly known as certification, because there's, I think, a couple of misconceptions that need to be clarified. And then we will talk about Armenia, where it will go with ecotourism and with organic. But before I start, I would like to ask who of you actually is involved in ecotourism activities? Okay, well that's some 50%. Who of you is involved in ecotourism activities that include food? 2, 3, 4, 5, okay, 6. Good, and those that are dealing with ecotourism and food, who of you is dealing with organic food?
Can you explain what do you mean? I mean, certified organic food, or just we make permaculture?
We'll get to that afterwards. Just as a starters, like if you yourself define you being involved in organic.
Yeah, we are doing permaculture currently.
Okay. 1, 2. Well, okay. Let's say maybe it's some 2%. That's good. So, what is ecotourism? We've talked about that since 10 in the morning. Who can tell me what is ecotourism? Okay, everybody knows, that's a good answer. Do all agree? Do everybody know what is ecotourism? Okay, no harm to nature, yeah, that's a good point. Okay, well, I'm not gonna bore you with long definitions, but I think it's important that we have a common ground here. So I'm not a tourism expert myself, I have to admit. I'm still learning very much about that, but two definitions that I think we can agree on is that it's the practice of a low-impact, educational, ecologically and culturally sensitive travel that will benefit also the local communities in those countries. Or a more recent definition by the International Ecotourism Society is that it's a responsible travel, which also the colleague you mentioned, that it conserves actually the environment, not only not doing harm but conserving it, and sustaining the well-being also of local people. And it involves the also education. This is very important for organic. There are other things like ecotourism. There is also so-called farm tourism. Who knows about farm agri-tourism? Okay, well, this is a very, very advanced auditorium, so I will quickly rush through it. So agri-tourism is, and here I took on purpose the one from Wikipedia because it combines different countries, saying it's the most broadly involving agricultural operation that brings visitors to a farm or a ranch. Yeah? That means people come to your farm, to your ranch, work there, and this is their sort of tourism. Or, as an unknown person once said, it's the simple life of a poor farmer that becomes the luxury of the rich people, which I like also very much. And important, it's not necessarily organic, because it can be people coming to your farm which is not organic and working there and doing tourism. Okay, that was the easy part. What is organic agriculture? Again, everybody knows? Or everybody thinks they know?
We think that we know. Not using chemicals, not using chemicals in production of food.
Well, that's one part of it, no pesticides used, okay. You wanted to say it more? Also no chemicals, no pesticides. Okay, I just want to give you examples, because we always think like, okay, definition, it's boring, it's long, it's sentences, but it's important what's written there, because all those words are there for a reason. So you see the European Union, for example, has a very strong orientation towards the consumers. It says that, put simply, organic farming is an agricultural system that seeks to provide you, the consumers, with fresh, tasty and authentic food, while respecting natural life cycle systems. And that's very important because it's not only about not using chemicals, it's actually about the cycle on the farm, and the cycle of life that you have on the farms. And it says that to achieve this, the organic farming relies on a number of objectives and principles, as well as the common practices designed to minimize the human impact on the environment. So again, we have the environment here, while ensuring the agricultural system operates as naturally as possible. So no use of chemicals, no use of unnatural inputs to the farm system. In the United States, the USDA Organic will tell you that organic farming is a system which avoids or largely excludes the use of synthetic inputs such as fertilizers, pesticides, hormones, feed additives, etc., and to the maximum extent feasible relies upon crop rotations. So again, the circle, the cycle on the farm, on the crop residues, on animal manures, and off-farm organic waste, mineral-grade rock additives, and biological systems of nutrient mobilization and plant protection. Very sophisticated. And there's IFOAM. Who of you know IFOAM? International Federation of Organic Agricultural Movements. Anybody knows IFOAM? One hand there. Two hands. Verge? Okay. So that's good. First, one thing people don't know. So IFOAM is a federation of organic movements, as the name says. It's a it was in the 70s when international organic movements joined forces for the first time and came together to set up this movement. And today they are kind of like the organic umbrella worldwide, and they are doing a lot of work in definition, in policy making, lobbying with EU, US, etc. And they also came together with a definition that they elaborated together. People from all over the world, organic farmers, consumers have done this together. And they said that organic agriculture is a production system that sustains the health of soils, ecosystems, and people. And here you can see which word comes first, the soils. So it's actually the most important thing is the soil. You are sustaining, you're not disturbing it, destroying it. It relies on ecological processes, biodiversity, cycles, again, adapted to local conditions, rather than the use of inputs, as the lady said before, with adverse effects. It combines tradition, innovation, and science to benefit the shared environment and promote fair relationships, which is another part that hasn't been there in the more technical definitions, because it's about a fair relation between people that work with the farms, also tourists that come to the farms, and the good quality of life for all involved. And I want to demonstrate this. It's a clip that would last 1 minute. But it's just nice to see if it works. Yes, it does.
Our vision is the worldwide adoption of ecologically, socially, and economically sound systems based on the principles of organic agriculture. Health, ecology, fairness, and care. This means growing food in a way that sustains the health of people and the planet, that nourishes living ecological systems and cycles, that builds relationships, ensuring fairness both among people and in their relations to other living beings, and also protects and cares for the health and well-being of current and future generations as well as the environment. Find out how you can join us in cultivating change at iphone.bio.
Yes, that's for that. So, one slide about the differences between conventional and organic agriculture. This is the so-called sustainability flower. It measures the impact of agricultural practices on different levels, on the quality of the food, on the impact on the environment, on the social impact of production, and also on the cost. And you can see that, for example, conventional agriculture, of course, is quite high when it comes to yield. It also is still quite high when it comes to nutritional quality, and somewhat also when it comes to total costs and profitability. But if you look at the organic flour, it's much more round, it's much more equal. So you still have a good yield, you have more nutritional quality, you lose much less energy, you have a less impact on the environment, and you still have even more profitability currently because of the organic premium that people are ready to pay on the market. And one thing I also want to tell you, we can look at that later if you're interested. There is a very interesting scientific trial going on since 1978 in Switzerland, the so-called DOC trial, Biodynamic Organic Conventional, and they have been growing for almost 40 years now. They have been growing conventional and organic and biodynamic crops in parallel. And indeed, after 25 years or so, we did the first sum up, and they found out that for organic you have 65% lower input of fertilizers, so you save money on that, you save the environment, you have less energy consumption. By all that, you only have 20% lower yields, which is also important because a lot of times people are criticizing organics for having a low yield, which is not true in that extent. And we were talking about the soil before, about sustaining the soil, and it showed that the humus content remained much more stable on the organic plots over the decades, you can say. So really, since 1978, this is not something they just did in the backyard. This is a scientific experiment, and you can look up on the website. There's much more to learn from that experience. It's really a very interesting fact-finding thing. Good. So, having talked about all these definitions, we have shown from the Italian example, it can be an incremental part of the tourism activity at organic farm tourism sites, involving actually tourists and educating them in the organic tourism activities. So, as I promised before, there will be a part about certification, because this is something now we've been talking about, organic food, organic tourism, organic hotels, organic air, water, whatsoever. And as the gentleman said rightly, you can always claim what I do is organic, but who says it's organic and who can prove it? So, the so-called organic guarantee systems are used to prove that whatever you as a consumer eat, or what you visit, or what you do, is really organic. And here I'll use different, you see it also from the design of the slides. It's not my slides, it's iPhone slides, because I really think they have done it very nicely and I didn't want to reinvent the wheel. So what they actually make the point that where do you need certification? It's when the consumer requests the assurance that the products are healthy and that it's really an organic product, and when the producer is claiming that they are doing it actually and they're claiming. So what you need there, you need trust. And trust perfectly works usually when you have this classical example of the first party. That means you have the little farmer here, or a big farmer, and you have the consumer, and the farmer says, I'm doing organic. The consumer says, well, yes, I can go to your field, I can be an agri-tourist, for example, I see what you're doing, it's organic, I believe you, it's good, I buy it. In the second party assurance, you have already a group of farmers. And you have the consumer, but the consumer asks the farmers, like, well, how do you produce organically? And they say, well, we are doing it according to standards. So this is what it was like in the 70s, 80s, when iPhone evolved. They developed their own standards, how to produce organic. And the people could go there and look, yeah, well, this is the standard, I like the way you produce, and I believe you, and it's fine, and it's organic, and I'll tell my friends, and they will buy it, and it's good. So, what is the standard? Standard is actually what you see in the picture. The Romans used it when they were walking their armies. They had this standarte, which is like the standard. And so standard is nothing new. It's very old. And the standard can be anything. It can be, I can make my daily standard. I can tomorrow register it. I say it's my daily standard. It's the best way you can live, and everybody. I'll set it for $1,000 a year. You can then call yourself David Certified, for example. But it can also be a state standard, it can be national standard, it can be EU standard. But in general, it's a document that includes the specifications for, in the case of agriculture, how to produce the crops, about the husbandry, about management, soil fertility, about pest disease control, about how to harvest, how to post-harvest treat, how to label, etc. That's the standard. The first standard was in 1967. It was from the Soil Association. It had 3 pages. 3 pages. In 1985, the same standard already had 24. In 1990, 100, and after all, 500 pages. The EU organic regulation has 127 pages, and the Green Caucasus standard, which is the private standard used in Armenia, has also 127 pages describing how you have to produce and package to be organic. Why do we have all that? Mostly because of that picture. This is the global organic market growth. You can see we have an incredible growth over the past 15 years, and now we have already $18 billion of organic markets worldwide. And on that market, you have your farmers, you have your consumers, but between them, you have processing, you have packaging, you have post-harvest treatment, you have retail, wholesale, all that whole chain, and the consumer simply has no clue anymore where the things come from, not even if it's organic. That's why you have introduced inspection, third-party certification. Inspector coming, looking at the whole chain, inspecting all the elements, and checking it against the standards, doing it for you, filing a report, sending it to the certification body, and then the certification body says, yes, it's organic, it's certified. And then you can say, yes, I believe them, it's organic. But then the question is, who policies the policeman, as I've gone through it? So if the certification body is actually certifying, inspecting, who says that they are doing the correct thing? Well, in that case, usually we have a competent authority, and you have accreditation according to the standards. So it means then, in Austria, for example, it's the local governance, so it's the Austrian µARTADARANKI that accredits the certification bodies in Austria. In, I think we talked about Lithuania, right? There's only one state certification body. I think in Denmark it's the same, or in Holland, correct me. One, yeah. So it's different ways to do it, but that's the way our whole system works. It's very complex. And yeah, so we talked about standards, we talked about what is an inspection, we talked about the assessment of conformity, we talked about certification, about the certification bodies, about the competent authority, and the accreditation. We can later on go back if there's still some uncertainty or not, but everything is clear, we can talk about that in detail. Currently there's 84 countries which have an organic regulation, and there are about 150-200 private standards. Mine is not registered yet, maybe it will be someday. And we have about 549 certification bodies. So what are the challenges with this system? The challenges is that it's costly for small operators. I see some organic farmers over there, I think they can sing a song about that. It's difficult with the paperwork. It can be exclusive for small farmers. It's for trade it's difficult. You're inspecting, certifying mostly to a foreign standard. And the exporters are only interested in your commodities, so we don't actually talk anymore about the farm cycle, about the soil, about whatever. It's just about the market, about money. So where does all this leave the small farmers, small entrepreneurs? So, where is it good to have a third-party certification? It's good when you have extended and complex value chains as you had before in the graphics. It's good when you have a conventional retail. If you want to sell your stuff in Yerevan City, Sas, Varna, wherever you want to sell it, then you need certification. If you want to export your trade to Europe, yes. If you do a lot of processing, repacking, branding, yes, certification is needed. It's the best tool currently for dealing with this market, but IFOM is actually proposing an alternative for local trade. And this is also, I think, very connected to tourism and ecotourism, because the same as for food certification, it goes for tourism certification. Like the bio hotels I showed you before, like this Italian agribusiness where, like, do you need a third-party certification inspection for ecotourism, or don't you need it? If it's just for local food, local market. I'm seeing we have had a late start of the lunch. I don't know how we're doing with the time. Is the timekeeper? Are you the timekeeper? 5 minutes. Can we make 15 out of it? No? Okay, good. So, I'll move quickly through this, but it's important because this is the alternative that can work. It's called a participatory guarantee system. So it's a guarantee system, like certification, but it's not by a third party, but by the participation of everybody involved in the food circle. And yeah, it's good if it's local relevant. It emphasizes the participation, as I just said, of the stakeholders. It's for operating outside of the frame of the third-party certification, and yeah, it's good when there's a local market which is developing, like in EMEA, for example. If local supplies are just coming up, just developing. it's good if the small farmers need access to the organic market, and if the customers need assurance for local, and if you have short value chains, like really like buying off the farm, having a small consumer producer cooperative, whenever you have short cycles, then this system can very well work. And in a rough way, how it can work is you have your consumers here. This is, I think, an example from India, as you can see from this lady here. And you have your other stakeholders, NGOs, ecotourism, NGOs involved whatsoever. And you have your farms. And the idea behind it is that the group of this system, the farmers are always the whole year doing their own social control. They're visiting each other, talking, exchanging how to produce, and the consumers and stakeholders can always visit the farms. They can look how it's being done, that there is no bad practices, etc. And then they together, they have their own criteria they develop, and then they can actually issue a certification for the local market. To prove this is not a pipe dream, it actually is widespread worldwide. It's gaining international recognition. There are functional systems in 26 countries, and about 40,000 smallholder farmers are currently working in such systems. It's mainly the Americas, India, Asia, but you can also see in Turkey, I think there's one or two. So it's growing, it's coming up. It can be, it doesn't have to be, but it can be a solution for local challenges. So the last 3 slides before we go to the questions. State of play of organic Armenia in 2017. What are our strengths currently? We have 33 certified organic operators. We have another 46 producers which are being supported by our project. We have the law in place since 10 years. We have one local certification body that can certify farmers for European, US, Swiss, Canadian markets. We have 9 European certification bodies that are allowed to work in Armenia and certify your produce for European markets. We have a national logo, identity of organic. We have a national standard which is under development. And we have a high potential for further developing the organic because of biodiversity, because of all the factors that have been discussed the whole morning. On the weak side, there is no national action plan. There is no legitimate forum of, like an umbrella forum of producers, consumers. There's no lobby against it, like to work with the government to have a representation of organic farmers, for example. Awareness is rising, but we really, Armen mentioned before, like our Google Groups, etc. We have on Facebook all the time we get questions, where can we buy organic things, how can we produce this and this organically. So it's really, it's increasing, but there is a lot of misconceptions. That's why I spent so much time before to really define organic, because a lot of people would say, yes, of course I know this organic. But then if you ask them to explain, they're not able to in the right way. There's no state support yet for organic, but the state is supporting, for example, chemical nitrogen fertilizers which have negative externalities to organic. And there's no competent authority and accreditation of GCBs, like the picture I showed you before, where the state accredits the certification bodies, for example. This is not yet, this mechanism is not there. And we have a very strong export orientation. Recent, like the last 5–10 years, it was all about producing organic, not according to those principles, but just replacing chemical for let's say humus, or replacing pesticides with organic pesticides. But it's much more. We have to develop more farms that have the whole farm cycle, that really use their own inputs, no external inputs, etc. And they have to be given an opportunity to sell their stuff in the local market. For example, at ecotourism sites. Because a small farmer producing, I don't know, a couple of kilos of dried fruits, they will never go to export that stuff to the Union. This is not realistic. And on the opportunity side, to finalize on a positive note, we have an increasing interest and popularity of organic, also in Armenia. We are currently revising the legal framework, and I hope that we will be able to introduce the possibility of PGS systems to increase local sale. The agrarian universities developing a Master of Science curriculum together with Vienna University on organic. There are increased market and awareness activities. There's a worldwide stable growth. You remember the graph before with this 80 billion, so this is still growing, and Armenia can be part of that as well. And there is an increasing tourism inflow. So this is the question: how can we really use this potential of tourism, of ecotourism, to market the organic products? So I just put a couple of questions on the last slides. You can come up with your own questions. We can. I would really like to have some comments on these questions both from your side. And yeah, that's it from my side. Thank you.
Շնորհակալություն համապարփակ ներկայացման համար։ Մենք ունենք 10 րոպե ժամանակ հարցերի համար։ Ես առաջարկում եմ ընդունենք 3 հարցեր, պատասխանները ստանանք, եթե մեր ժամանակ մնա, շարունակենք ընդունել հարցերը, այլապես մենք կարող ենք ընդմիջման ժամանակ հարցերը անմիջապես ուղղել խոսնակին։ Խնդրեմ, հարցեր։
Եթե կարելի է երկու հարց շատ կարճ ձևակերպել։ Առաջինը, ուրեմն Իտալիայի գործի վերաբերյալ խոսեցիք, բոլորը երևի շատերը այստեղ գիտեն, որ կա slow food movement Իտալիայում։ Ինչպես եք դուք վերաբերվում դրան, դա ձեր մրցակից շարժումն է, դրական եք վերաբերվում, դա առաջին հարցն է, եւ երկրորդ հարցը Կալավանի վերաբերյալ որոշակի ուրեմն մուտք է ձեր պրոյեկտը ապահովել Կալավան գյուղ, կան արդյոք այլ օրինակներ, երբ դուք անմիջապես կապվում եք туриզմի հետ, ասենք թե ինչ-որ ուրիշ գյուղ կամ ուրիշ կենտրոն տուրիստական, կան արդյոք կամ նախատեսվում են արդյոք, շնորհակալություն։
Շնորհակալություն, դուք ներքևում հարց ունենք։ Ստեղ հարց ունենք, ստեղ ներքևում։
Շնորհակալություն, Աշոտ Միրզյան, զբաղվածական կենտրոն, Դեյվիդ Մուքենհուբեր, Բարոշի Սարսալա։ Ладно, հայերեն ասած ոտարման են գոչին, գիտեմ։ Իմ հարցի դա առաջարկը յասլար Հետարուսենը խոսել դրամար եմ ասում, հենց իմ առաջարկ եմ անում, մայիսի 20-ին հիշեք, ես ձեզ ժամներ հրավերը պաշտոնապես կուղարկենք, էկոնոմիկայի նախարարության դարիճում, երկրորդ տարի մենք բրենդի օր ենք կազմակերպում, գործարանները, եթե որ ասպետ չկա, կա, բազապես հենց համակարգողինքը ֆորում ան, դե մարդիկ չեն գալիս ուղղակի նստում, դե ինտերակտիվ քննարկումա խնդիրները որոշում ենք, լուծում ենք եւ առաջարկենք անում հենց վերևի նստած ղեկավարներին նախարարության։ Ձեր հրավերում ենք հենց հիմա ու բոլորին ենք հրավերում, շատերը գալու են։ Հենց այդ խնդիրները բարձրաձայնելու, ես բազմապես առաջարկում եմ կհետևեք հրավերը կուղարկեք, որ անպայման դուք տեղյակնեք դրա մասին, որովհետև շատ սպեկտր կա, որը մեզ հետ կապվում է, առանց էկոնոմիկայի ոչ մի չի կարող անել։ Այդքան դա ուղղակի առաջարկը հրավերը, շնորհակալություն։
Շնորհակալություն առաջարկի համար, մենք հարց ունենք ձախ այստեղ։
Դուք նշեցիք, որ կարևոր են հենց ագրոպրոդուկտը աճացնելու հենց հողից, Հայաստանում կա բազմաթիվ տարածաշրջաններ, որոնք ունեն տարբեր կազմված հողի, օրինակ շիկահողեր կամ կավահողեր կան, որոնք կարելի է նույնպես գնահատել, փորձել նրանցից էլ բերք ստանալ եւ այլն, աճեցնել ագրոպրոդուկտ, հետեւյալն է, հարցս, ունեք խորհրդատվական այնպիսի ծառայություն կամ մատուցում եք այնպիսի ծառայություն, որպեսզի արտադրողի հետ իրականացվի այդ ուսուցումը եւ այլն, փորձեն վերհանել խնդիրները, լուծել դա եւ աճեցնել։ Շնորհակալություն։
Շնորհակալություն հարցի համար, ես առաջարկում եմ մեր խոսնակին պատասխանել 3 հարցերին, մենք նաև ունենք 1 առաջարկ։
Well, the slow food movement, I have to admit I have not been studying that all too intensely. I wouldn't be able to give you a very complete comment on that, but I don't see it as a competition or anything. Everything that goes in this direction has synergies, and the synergies have to be used. The same organic production, ecotourism, agritourism, food tourism, whatever. there is always a potential for cooperation. This has to be used. This is all I can say about this question. Regarding the tourist sites, we have, as I mentioned before, in ԱՐՏԱԴՐԱՆՔ, one of our ground projects, they are building a training center and the tourism activity, for example. So their plan is to bring tourists there to teach them, to show them how they do organic production and processing. They have a demonstration plot there as well, so there is other activities as well. Yeah, this is for this. I'm not sure if I got the comment regarding that there is no businesses. I think I didn't say there are no businesses, but I thank you for the invitation to the artists to raise their issues and their suggestions. So let's do this. And regarding the soils, my first, we are not doing it, but my first idea would be, if you agree or not, I don't know, but I think the extension services can be one way to handle that. So there are like the extension system, which is going to be improved soon, and we have in the past already been training a lot of extension agents on the practices of organic agriculture, on horticulture, wild collection, sustainable wild collection, things like that. So these extension agents can be teach or train more in what you've been suggesting, and they then ideally should spread that knowledge out in the villages. That's the idea behind an extension system, but I don't know if you want to comment more on that. Okay.
Շնորհակալություն։ Ես ուղղակի նաև կուզենայի արձագանքել այն հարցին, որը բարձրացվեց slow food-ի մասով։ Ինձ թվում է մեր Հայաստանի հենց ագրոտուրիզմի եւ էկոտուրիզմի այսօրվա առանձնահատկություններից մեկը, որ մենք մատուցում ենք slow food։ Եվ մենք ինձ թվում է մրցելու տեղ ունենք իհարկե իտալացիների հետ, իրանց բրենդային ապրանքների հետ, բայց մեր առանձնահատկությունը եւ տուրիստները նաև այցելում են Հայաստան, նաև հաշվի առնելով սննդի առանձնահատկությունները։ Հույսով մենք նրանք չենք փոխարինի ապակայում fast food-ով։ Ես առաջարկում եմ միգուցե եւս մեկ հարց ընդունենք, ահա ստեղ ունենք։
Hello, thank you for your presentation. I'd like to mention a practical example that you might be aware of a small permaculture eco-camp in Kapan, Sunik, Mars. And they host tourists, and any tourist that comes, they can see for themselves that what they produce is organic because they don't use any external chemicals. Everything is permaculture designed, so fertilizer is organic. And my question is, how can a small NGO like that, they're ready to lead the way for organic agriculture in the region? Who do they turn to? How can they begin this participatory governance system? What resources are available for them? And what's the best way for them to coordinate with other producers who are also interested but may not know so much about organic agriculture? Thank you.
This is an excellent question, and it's actually aiming right in the heart of what I said before regarding the point that there is no movement currently, like no working movement in Armenia. Just to give you the background information, IFOAM together with the local research institute have been done a large capacity needs assessment last year amongst producers, consumers, farmers, different organizations, NGOs, what are their capacity needs to develop organic in Armenia. And as an outcome of this, they have developed a strategy for capacity development in organic, and it is a strategy, but it has actually, you won't believe it, 44 concrete measures suggested. And we do hope that a lot of them will be implemented in the future. For this current project, we are at halfway currently. We have 1.5 years behind us and 1.5 years before us. We hope that we can still implement some 4 or 5 of the suggested measures, and half of them would actually be aimed at building umbrella, at building the movement, at designing the national strategy, and that would be exactly the place where then people like you mentioned can come in and then share their activities, their spirit with the others.
Շնորհակալություն, ես կցանկանամ շնորհակալություն հայտնել նիստի համաժողովի եւ այս նիստի մասնակիցներին, շնորհակալություն ձեր հետաքրքրության համար, հաշվի առնելով որ մեր ժամանակը ավարտվեց, մյուս հարցերի եւ քննարկումների համար մենք կարող ենք ձեզ հետ ոչ ֆորմալ ընդմիջման ժամանակ շփվել։ Շնորհակալություն մասնակցության համար։